It is now time for our scripture lesson. And my scripture today is James chapter 2, verses 17 through 24. So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Now, someone may argue, some people have faith, others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. You say, have faith. You say you have faith, for you believe there is one God. Good for you. Even the demons believe this, and they tremble in terror. How foolish. Can you see that faith without good deeds is useless? Don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac to the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. And so it happened, such as the scriptures say, Abraham believed God, and God counted him as righteous because of his faith. He was even called the friend of God. So you see, we are shown to be right by God by what we do, not by faith alone. And this ends the reading of our scripture, James chapter 2, verses 17 through 24. Faith is powerful. And it is said that our faith can move mountains. But I ask you today, does it really? Does our faith alone move the mountain? Or does our faith combined with our intent and action move the mountain? I believe it's the latter. And in our scripture, James teaches us that faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Faith is powerful, but faith alone without good deeds isn't enough. Faith is part of the foundation of our spiritual house. It's the foundation, but it's not the entire house. And we need to continue to build on that foundation. We have to take our faith and put it into action by going out into the world and doing something with it. For it is what we do with our faith that matters. Our faith will have the greatest impact through our good deeds. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I attended Sunday school, and I attended church every Sunday, Sunday after Sunday with my parents. The only time that I wasn't expected to attend was if I was sick. Otherwise, rain, snow, or shine, my parents faithfully attended church every Sunday. And we recited the same prayers week after week after week until, after many years of repetition, they became memorized. Then, as an adult, I began to ask why. Why was I doing this? What was the meaning of all of this? And I looked around and I saw some people who went to church on Sunday, but on Monday through Saturday, in my opinion, they didn't seem to be living what they were taught. And in my quest to seek more, it dawned on me that while it is important to devote time on Sundays to our religious observances, it was just as, if not even more important, to live what we were taught. For me, it was more about how we lived after we walked outside of those church doors. It wasn't about going to church to seek forgiveness for our error ways. It was about how we treated people, what we did for people, and how we acted in our personal lives. So we want to combine the power of our faith with action, faith with the action of our good deeds can have a lasting impression upon humankind. It is part of the cornerstone of our spiritual progression. You hear us say week after week that the Spirit of God dwells within us. The Spirit of God not only dwells within us, are you ready for this? But we are, each and every one of us here today, we are this Spirit expressing in and through all we do. Expressing God through our words, how we treat other people, and through our actions. We, each and every one of us, we are God in action in this physical world. Now, in your mind, I want you to take this journey with me. And I want you to just imagine that every person upon this planet is a spark of God's light. And that each and every one of us is attuned in to this God within us. And now we're going to take it a step further and imagine that every person's actions and decisions are governed by this Spirit of God within. If this occurred, just imagine what our planet would be like. I envision that it would be much more harmonious than it is today. And this may sound overwhelming and unachievable, but it can happen. And it can happen when one by one, person by person, our good deeds mirror our faith. And when our faith is inspired by the God within. As the expression of God, we are empowered with the ability to change this world. I like to be informed and watch the news every night. And for some, this may sound depressing and they prefer not to tune into it. But if you look at it through another lens, it can also be inspiring. If we so choose, it can inspire us to want to make a difference, to help bring about the change the world needs. I don't recall when I turned on the news and week after week, I shouldn't even say week after week, it's almost day after day now. You're watching reports, these devastating natural disasters occurring around the world, and they seem to be intensifying. And the conflicts throughout the world seem to be escalating. And I thought about it. Perhaps the planet is barking back at us to stop. Perhaps this is our lesson to do something about it. And each of us is being called to action. I was walking last weekend and thinking about everything going on in the world. And in my mind, I asked God, where is this all going? What's going to happen? And what are we supposed to do? And I keep trying to make sense of everything and figure out what I need to do. Then I posed the same question one evening to Reverend Jackson. And I asked him, when do you think this will all change and rebalance? And his answer to me was that this will change when the consciousness of humankind changes. It's not up to God to change it. It's up to us to change it. And then he said, it's not up to the God. Well, these weren't his exact words. It's not up to the God some of us grew up believing was a God sitting on a throne and deciding what will happen to whom and who got what. But rather, God was the consciousness of God within each of us. And it is up to us to bring about the changes in this consciousness and to bring about the changes we desire. Which leads me back to our scripture lesson. James says, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? Can't you see that faith without good deeds is useless? Faith with the action of our good deeds. What are we going to do with what we believe in our faith? There's going to be times when we will be tested. And sometimes life has a way of making it so uncomfortable that we can't ignore what's going on around us. And it can be a rude awakening and get to the point where we just can't hide under the covers anymore, believing that it's just all magically going to go away. When we hide behind our faith and do nothing, that is the useless faith that James speaks of. When we listen to the Spirit of God within, at the very core of our being, we know the answer. We know what we must do. We are being called to action, and we have to step up. The world needs us. We want to listen and be willing to step out of our comfort zone and step up to the plate. Many of us are being called to action, for we are God's army. The light workers and torch bearers shining the light through the darkness in sending healing where it is much needed, helping others find their way through the storms of life, being non-judgmental, and just holding this energy for them to find their light, to find, realize the indwelling Spirit of God that is within them. Faith and action are the foundation of our spiritual house. The key to opening the door is listening to the will of God that is within us. Having the faith that our intuition will guide us in the right direction and following our intuition, paying attention to the subtle messages the universe sends us. I find that the universe will leave breadcrumbs on our path, guiding us to where we need to go and staying on course. We are being called to action, and the universe will place opportunities on our path where our good deeds will make a difference. Listen, listen, be open and receptive to being the conduit for doing God's work. Our good deeds will benefit humanity, and they will also benefit us. The stronger our faith becomes, and the more we take action with our faith, the more we grow and the more we progress. It's like exercising. The more you do it, the stronger you become, and you build up your endurance. We are building our spiritual strength and endurance. The Spirit of God is doing its good works through us. And as I mentioned, sometimes the universe leaves breadcrumbs on your path. And I was watching a show the other night, and Jane Seymour was on this show. And I was very touched by her quote, which I want to share with you, that just slid right into my sermon. She said, "The only thing that you take with you when you leave this earth is the love that you've shared in your life and the difference you made." I'm going to repeat that. The only thing that you take with you when you leave this earth is the love that you've shared in your life and the difference you've made. And as James has taught us, so you see, we are shown to be right by God by what we do, not by faith alone. Namaste, and blessings to each of you.